Welcome to the Black Mirror Podcast.
Join host Ho-Ho as he discusses the riveting Netflix original series,
Black Mirror. Now, here he is, Ho-Ho-Ho.
From the Cottage Studio, welcome to Black Mirror Podcast, and as always, I am your host, Ho-Ho. How y'all's doing? So this was the episode that started the whole thing. Season 1, Episode 1, we are revisiting the national anthem. And holy cow, man, I tell you what, this episode was no less disturbing than the first time I seen it. Wow. Now, to be fair, for me to really get hooked on Black Mirror Podcast, I really had to, for the most part, I had to finish the entire first season. I really did, because this one was just, disturbing doesn't really quite fit. This one was just, wow. It really was. It was just wow. And this, for the majority of this episode, whenever I was watching it, not just the first time, but this time too, it was just a, what? It was a what am I watching? What is going, what is this? That's what I was saying for like pretty much the entirety of the episode. I really was. This episode, and I tell you what, okay? Again, spoiler alert, but you already know that, and all right. Man, dude. All right, we might as well just go ahead and get into it. So here's the thing. This has to do with the princess being kidnapped, and the ransom demand is very unorthodox. Apparently, the kidnapper has a personal beef with the prime minister, whatever that guy's name was. Michael. Okay, that's what his name was. And as per the request, she gets kidnapped, throughout the night, at some point in time throughout the night. I don't remember when. The ransom video gets put on YouTube, and the request wasn't money. It wasn't anything like that. They didn't ask for prisoners to be freed. They didn't ask for anybody to die. Their request was that the prime minister does the dirty with the pig. Yeah. That's what the request was. How you really have to have a beef with a guy, with anybody, to do something like that. That was just a whole new level of, dude, what the heck? Now, man, and I feel for the guy, I really did. This is British Parliament. This is the Prime Minister. This is a guy whom, plays the game. The political game, he knows the deal. This is all about public perception, the whole 9 yards. And he knows that after everything is all said and done, this is a lose-lose scenario. If he does nothing, then the princess gets murdered. If he goes through with it and follows through with the kidnapper's demand, his life is ruined. Public perception is everything. Yeah, no matter how much people may be like, oh, he had no choice, yada, yada, blah, blah. The public perception was still what it was. There's no running away from this, type of a thing. It was, wow. He ends up going through with it. And this is an aspect of the Queen personally, calls him up and was like, you do whatever you need to for my daughter to come back. That's more or less what she says to him. You know, we're not privy to that conversation. We just kind of hear the aftermath per se. That's what it amounts to, you know. We hear the aftermath. They are trying to make it to where he's not actually doing the deed. They try to come up with ways that they can fake it, and, you know, basically through the power of CG, make it to where he's not the one that's actually doing the dirty. They're just putting his head on somebody else. And here's the thing too. I mean, like, the guy was smart, you know, the kidnapper. He knew a little something about video, about editing, about, you know, with lighting and multiple camera angles and, you know, different ways that they would use to try to, you know, fake it, you know, make it to where it wasn't him that was doing it. So he put stipulations in there as far as what they needed to do in order to, you know, not fake it, you know. They tried anyway. He was caught. So he cuts off her finger, mails that along with a video of him doing it to UKN, the news organization, you know, one of the major news organizations in the show. So now it's like he has to do it. You know, now here's the thing. Here it is. This is why I kind of feel for the guy, okay? Because it really is an aspect of, you know, pride, you know, your own image, your own public perception, and you're trying to weigh that against somebody's life, because that's what's going on. You know, it's you do the dirty with the pig, and of which case the princess lives, or you don't, and she dies. And of course, this is assuming that they're going to honor that agreement. But even still, I mean, that's what the prime minister is forced to weigh here. You know, he's forced to pride over life. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? Of course, you're going to do it. You know, you have to. Holy cow. So he's doing the dirty, okay? The lead up into it, and then finally he's doing the dirty. I'm trying to keep this as PC and as clean as possible. It's kind of hard whenever this is what the episode is, but anyway. Everybody's reaction is pretty well the same. I mean, granted, okay, this is going to be televised, national, over the internet, you know, celestial. I mean, this is being televised everywhere. Across the interwebs, on national TV, the whole entire thing. And they're told, you know, they tell people, you know, don't view it, don't watch it, don't yada, yada, blah, blah. Like, come on. Okay. Now here's what was amazing. The entire city, the entire country, and like the whole, everything shuts down on the lead up to this act happening. And the time frame was when it had to start was 4 p.m. The town that this is taking place in, like, everything stops. Nobody is on the street. Nobody's in their vehicle. Everybody is either home or in, you know, public areas at the bar, whatever, where they can watch what's about ready to go down. Everybody. You know, so like, if you're somebody who's, you know, wants to rob a bank, now's the time. Everybody's doing something else. Everybody is somewhere else. That would be the perfect time to rob a bank and get away with it. Just saying. But the reaction of what's going on was very telling. You know, because you had everybody kind of go through the same 3 stages of emotion. Everybody pretty much all at the same time. Like, you had some people that didn't go through all of these. I got to take a quick drink. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. So you had a few people like sickos that were, you know, just really into it way more than what they should have been. Way more than what they would be if it was them doing it and not the prime minister. But everybody was going through pretty much the same emotional roller coaster at the same time. It was cheering him on, or at least not cheering him on, but cheering about the situation. Like, yeah, he's got to do this. Yeah, this is amazing. And then it was oh, holy crap, he's actually going to do it. And then it was disgust and silence. And then, really feeling sorry for him for what he had to do. We don't know exactly how long this went on, but we know that it went on for at least an hour. There's a point, somebody's like, oh, turn it off. I was like, no, come on, we gotta keep watching. And the lady was like, dude, this has been going on for an hour already. So we know that it was about an hour that this was going on, because one of the rules was you had to finish. You had to run this through its entirety. That was part of the ransom demand. You see her walking down a walking bridge, whatever. She is released. She's let go. Come to find out that her finger that was sent to the mail to this, news organization, it wasn't even hers. It was the kidnappers. It was male DNA. They find this out after the fact. Because apparently whenever this was first sent in the mail, they didn't think to actually check to make sure this was hers. They just automatically assumed because it had her, her ring on the finger. So it was automatically assumed. They didn't actually test it and check it just to make sure. And then it was come to find out that she was actually released a half hour before the deed was done. Like, the deed was supposed to take place at 4 p.m. She was actually released at 3:30. Not that it was a bluff per se. I mean, it was, yes, but it was kind of an aspect of he sent the finger in, and with that making the threat real, he had no doubt that they would follow through with it and that she wouldn't get back to civilization quick enough for it to change anything, and so he felt secure in that. So that's what he did. And then it was the year anniversary of this taking place, of this happening. And it was things seemed like they were, I don't want to say back to normal. How, at least with public perception, it's like, yes, everybody was like, yes, he did what he had to do to save her life. Because from what I remember, they didn't actually release any of that information with her being let go a half hour before the deed. I don't think any of that was actually released. At least they didn't tell the prime minister, and that was explicitly spoken. You're not telling the prime minister that she was released a half hour before he did the deed. Wouldn't that be a tough one? That'd be a tough one. Obviously you're not going to be able to hide the fact that she still has all of her, digits on her hand. Obviously you're going to realize that, oh, wait, hey, she has all of her fingers. So that was part of it that, they kind of had to come clean with. But the thing that got me was at the end, okay? With the prime minister's wife. Because she, at least at this point, has not forgiven him for what he did. And it's like, granted, I feel for her. How could you not? How are you supposed to just put that on the wayside? It's like the person you love, the person that you're with, you married him, how are you supposed to not think about that? I mean, I can understand the whole aspect of, I don't want to be intimate with you anymore, but at the same time, you can't, but treating him with disdain and disgust a year after the deed. And it's like, dude, what did you want him to do? I mean, that's kind of the thing here. That's kind of what, for me, that's what it kind of boils down to. It's like, what did you want him to do? Did you want him to let her die? I mean, they tried to do this in a way that he didn't have to, the prime minister didn't have to participate in this. That was what they tried to do. They failed. They were caught. And as far as they knew, the princess lost a finger because of it. Kind of locking them into the whole aspect of they had to do the deed. What was the prime minister supposed to do? How was he supposed to make this better? And she can't let it go. Not even with the physical relationship with him. As soon as they got home after whatever it was that they were doing that day, she just is going up the stairs and just turns and looks at him in absolute disgust. It's like, really? What the hell was he supposed to do? It's like you look at it in the reverse. What if she was put in that situation and not him? Oh, wait, am I not supposed to ask that type of a question? She didn't support him, not understanding. How would she have felt if the roles were reversed? And she was the one that had to humiliate herself on live TV for the world to see. How would she feel if he treated her with such disdain and disgust? Oh, she'd be upset. Oh, it'd be on. It'd be on like Donkey Kong. And worse, I am sure. So, yeah. But here's the thing, though. I mean, like I said before, it was an aspect of, it was kind of making fun of him, to being wowed, not in a good way, well, kind of both, being wowed by what was going on, to feeling sorry for him. And more or less, the public outcry all across the board was the same. It's like, he did what he had to do. They understood that, and they didn't, view him in a negative light because of that. He did what he had to do. He saved the princess. It didn't turn out as bad as what it kind of could have, at least in his professional life. Personal life, yeah, well, he was kind of screwed. Well, not, but never mind. Now, this for me was kind of reminiscent of another episode, okay? This one kind of reminded me of Hated in a Nation, I believe is what what it was. What season was that? Nope. All right. So it wasn't season 5. It wasn't season 4. Okay. It was the last episode of season 3. And yes, it was Hated in the Nation. It kind of reminded me of that one in a way. Okay. Because, Hated in the Nation, it was about, people using a hashtag in social media to basically kill somebody. And everybody was all gung-ho about that until it was their turn to die. And then you kind of had within this one, somebody having to do a dirty deed. Wow. Just had an AC/DC song playing in my head. Dirty deeds done with sheep. Well, in this instance, it was dirty deeds done with a pig. Anyway. Yes, there is something wrong with me. But with this one, you had, like I said, you had people not okay with it, not cheering it on. You had people that were understanding of the situation that the prime minister was put in. And not just understanding about the situation, it was a, disgust. And they genuinely at least from the show, felt sorry for him for what he had to do. You had the outlying people that were just really mean and nasty about it, but for the most part, everybody felt sorry for what he had to do, what he had to endure, and was understanding and sympathetic for it. You know, so there you have it. A jacked up episode, to be sure. Holy cow. Like I said, this was the first episode, man. This was the first episode. This was the one that set the stage for Black Mirror. And it definitely left me in a state of, what the heck is this? I mean, like, I was kind of forced to keep watching it. Like, is this going to, continue with this kind of stuff? Does it get better? Does it get worse? Are we going to find out how their lives continue? What's going on here? This was the one that set the stage for Black Mirror. Did not disappoint. Holy cow. I mean, wow. All right, so y'all's, the next episode we're going to be doing is going to be in season 2. Actually, I'm not doing, the entire history of You. We are continuing on. And the one that I've already decided I'm going to be doing is White Bear. Yes. The second episode of season 2. That is going to be the next episode, because I tell you what, that episode was pretty stinking awesome. I am looking forward to it. So y'all have a good one. See you in the next one. Thank you for listening to the Black Mirror Podcast. If you would like to join the conversation, you can comment on this episode at Spreaker.com or go to thehohoshow.com/forum in the discussion board for this season.